So you may be wondering, why is he carrying on about this knife? Pile of cow manure.
This lady's barn today
and chicken coop
and their chicken coop because she has a lot of chickens. And our hens are all getting really old. We got some new additions to our farm. There are 6 laying hens, or they will be when they get bigger.
What breed are they again?
They are
golden, white, silver.
Golden and silver streaked something. I can't remember the breed name. We've got 6 of them, and they're doing good. So once these guys grow up, we'll have 6 new laying hens.
Good morning and welcome back to Ida Homestead. It is a beautiful morning today. The sun is shining, it's warm outside, and we've got no wind yet. But it's going to pick up today. So we got a lot to do this morning before the wind picks up. We have had quite the warm week. It's been well into the 90s most of the week, and so we tried to build a shade for the cows. It didn't turn out so well, and with the wind coming today, it's going to rip this thing to shreds. So that's the first thing we're going to do, is get this pulled down. But while we're getting a few things done this morning, I wanted to show you guys the first thing. Hang on a sec. So I wanted to show you the first thing that I think a homestead needs. Hey, hang on. I put a halter on you last night. Where did the halter go? I don't know how he got his halter off. We're trying to halter break these cows. Anyway, what I was saying was, the very first thing that I think a homestead needs to build. When you first start out homesteading, this is the very, very first thing that you should work on building. We gotta go get a knife. This is gonna take me all day to do this thing. Here is something that we've built.
That is one big pile.
This is a giant pile of cow crap. It's not the first thing you want to build on a homestead. Our neighbors came it's been probably a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. One of our neighbors brought his tractor over and he cleaned out this whole corral, piled it all up here to compost. So the center of this should all be compost. It's full of wood chips and straw and cow manure. So it'll be tons of compost for our garden come next year. But it's not the first thing you want to build. Found the knife I was looking for. Kids left it up there. Not sure why it's there. So you may have seen me use this knife before. This knife actually came from a gentleman in town that was taking a bunch of scrap metal from us. Just as we've cleaned up the property, I found a few like saw blades and lawnmower blades, and he asked if he could have it so that he could make knives. He likes to do it just as a hobby, and in return he gave me this knife. Kind of a cool knife. We're going to use it to get this off. If you look at this thing, looks like it's in pretty bad condition. We've left it outside one too many times, but it's come in quite handy. It's pretty durable and pretty sharp, well-made knife for having done it in his tiny little shop with nothing but a grinder. Because he had the cutting torch too, but So you may be wondering, why is he carrying on about this knife, pile of cow manure? What does that have to do with the first thing you should build? Well, just hang tight and I'll show you in just a minute. There's a big bird on the post over there. Coming out here by the road to check on Gary. He's been doing our weed management up here. Hey Gary! You tangled up again. We got our chickens out in the front yard. You can see the road there. Chickens right by it. I think that officially makes us some of those weird people. But I gotta remember to come back and tie this to something before the wind really picks up, because that tarp is gonna turn into a kite and lift this whole thing away. We're supposed to get like 25-mile-an-hour steady winds, gusts like 40 to 60 mile an hour today. So when it comes, it's gonna be windy. Here's another thing we've been working on. You've seen me work on this. This fence, gate, everything, especially that fence across there. And I mean, you can see it all the way down here. We have built that to help keep the neighbor's horse in. They've got a big Percheron horse. The fence we had before, you can see this flimsy little thing. He could pretty well just step over that. So we built this bigger fence to keep him off the highway. Fencing is an important thing on a homestead. If you've got animals, especially if you're close to a busy road, you got to be able to make sure you keep animals safe. And so one of the more important things to build is fencing. But that is not the first thing that I think you should start building when you first start homesteading. Having to start to hide from this wind a little bit already, but I want to show you two more things and then I'll tell you what I'm talking about. This right here is a pile of hay that we've been feeding the cows with. It's actually a cool deal. One of our neighbors, they've got some horses and one of their bales got a little bit mold in it. If you don't know, they need a higher quality hay than cows do. If they get any kind of mold or anything in them, it'll make them sick. They can colic really easy. But a cow can eat some pretty bad hay. You know, the better quality you can get, the better off for the cow. But they can tolerate a fair amount of mold and other stuff in their food, as long as it's not hot, like, you know, alfalfa. You know, if it's just straight green alfalfa or a bunch of clover. If they were eating pure alfalfa off the stalk or pure clover stand, that can bloat them. But besides that, they can eat some pretty rough feed. This is beautiful for our cows. This is really awesome hay for them. So we appreciate that. They just gave it to us because they couldn't use it. So that'll feed our cows for probably 3 or 4 weeks. So pretty cool deal. Last but not least, look at this crater we have dug in planting our garden. This is where we're going to spend most of our day today. We got to get this garden all wrapped up. It's been kind of hard to get to this year. We've had a hard time getting it planted. But I just went through and dug out these wood chips down to the dirt. Look at this crater. It's probably 12 inches of wood chips we've dug down to find some dirt to plant in. Last fall, we've got a video on that. We had all these wood chips that we had piled up here. We moved them into this garden. We borrowed our neighbor's tractor, which we ran out of time to get everything completely smoothed out, but that probably saved me 4 or 5 days worth of work, being able to move it with that tractor versus having to move it with a wheelbarrow. So also pretty cool. I'm guessing you can probably figure out what I'm talking about by now. Put you up here to hide from the wind again. I guess you get a silhouette of me today. On a side note, this ladder here, finally gonna come down. That's literally been up there since like October of last year, because I've been up and down on this roof like 300 times. Starting when we put that chimney liner in, I've had a heck of a time getting the cap on it to stay in place. Couldn't find the right screws for it. Finally did, got it up there, so ladder can come down. Anyway, give you a better view than staring at a wall while I hide in here from the wind a little bit. So the number one thing that you're going to want to build, at least start building on a homestead. You can't build this in one day. It's going to take you a lifetime to build it. But number one is a community. That's one thing we've worked hard to try to build around here, as a community. We've had friends help us with tractor work. We've had friends drop off feed for us. We've helped the neighbors with building fence. They have helped us out with letting us use their horse. Anna is doing 4-H with their horse. So it's been kind of cool to be able to just build community with people, help out friends and neighbors, have them help us out. There's a lot of stuff that we wouldn't be able to do on our own without the help of our friends and neighbors and people around us. The number one thing that we have built that's probably helped us the most, of all the fencing, as important as it is, the different tools that we have, all of them important. None of them have helped us as much as just building a community has. Having people we can reach out to for help when we need it, or being able to help those around us. Part of the reason we want to homestead is to be able to teach our kids how to be responsible humans, take care of the land, as well as learn some skills that will help them. And I think that's a vital skill that will definitely help them down the road, is to be able to build relationships and be able to lean on people, and to be able to help other people out more than anything. We don't want to just be receiving on that all the time. We want to help other people out. And part of our building our community is being able to be in that position where we can serve other people. So we are going to get to work now. Anyway, thank you for being part of our community as well. Unfortunately, I don't know most of you. There's a lot of friends and family on here that watch, I know that, but I can't get out and help you build a fence if you live in Tennessee. But you can find a neighbor who will. So build that community of yours, and you can continue to be part of our community here. If you'd like to be, you can subscribe. That's awesome. Anyway, we will catch you guys later, and we'll see you next video. Gotta get these crazies some breakfast.